Hello and welcome to Enterprise Security Session from InfoSec 4TC. I'm Hisham Mahmoud, Security Operations Center Manager at one of leading bank here in Egypt, and I will be your instructor for today's session. So before we start, let me share some information about me, what I'm doing, my current position, certificate I hold, and so on. As I mentioned, my name is Hisham Mahmoud, and I'm Security Operations Center Manager at one of leading bank here in Egypt. And I'm also certified instructor from EC Council, hold more than 30 certificates from different vendor here. So our today agenda, we start with the threat landscape. We cover some attacks face our organization. We also cover the confidentiality, integrity, and availability triangle, hackers, their motivation, their tools, tactics, and so on, and also how to secure our product, how secure identity and access management, data security, security operation, and cyber intelligence. So we are going to highlight here the most important security control which help us to secure our organization from the threat actor. So we are, as a security manager, we face a lot of attacks and a lot of hacking attempt daily. And we know hackers, they have a motivation, they want to steal our money, they want to disable our business and so on. So they use a lot of techniques in order to hack into our organization. Some people using or distribute a malicious software like Trojan, ransomware, adware, and so on to encrypt our data, for example, and ask for ransom or maybe malicious software in order to allow an attacker to gain unauthorized access. We also have a web application with published service, and attacker love to attack our web service or web application. So it's very easy nowadays to hack into a web application, and from web applications they can pivot or launch another sophisticated attack to enter into our network. And the most valuable trick for hackers, they're using a phishing. And phishing, it's very important technique we must understand, and also our employee must understand this technique, because this technique used a lot by hackers. They send an email, a fake email, and ask our employee to insert some useful information like their credential and so on, or maybe they ask our employee to download something like an attachment and so on. We could also face a lot of spamming email and also distributed denial of service aimed to make our service unavailable. Also hackers, they could hack into our network and so on and do some identity theft, or maybe they can steal one of our employee laptop, for example, or mobile device, or sending a phishing email to hack into one of our employee laptop and start to steal his identity and so on. Maybe we face data breach, insider threats. Maybe one of our devices become part of botnet, maybe there is a physical attacks, maybe information leakage, maybe ransomware, and so on. So we must be ready to defend our organization from those attacks here. So yeah, that's our goals here. So we must achieve confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And confidentiality means we need to secure our data. Only the people who has authorization access our data. We also need to achieve integrity, so we don't want to allow anyone to mess up or modify our data. So if someone modified our data, we must have a security control detect this modification, for example. And we also must make our service available 24/7, because we need to show our customers that we have a credibility, for example. So imagine that if you an online store, and when your customers start to log into your website, and they saw a page, hey, you cannot access this web page, our service is not available right now. It's a nightmare, right? We don't want that to happen. So we must achieve, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And we can't really achieve those three aspects, okay, at once. Okay, so it's a game here. Okay, so we are, as a security leader, we must align security with business. Okay, so that's important, to align security with business. So sometimes you go with confidentiality and integrity and lose some availability. Sometimes you go with availability and you will lose confidentiality and integrity. So the hackers seek to steal our data, and they have a motivation. So we have a nation state sponsored hacker. Okay, so those hackers sponsored by, other nation, for example. They hack into our, companies, for example, and so on. For geopolitical here, we have cyber criminal, we have hacktivist, we have terrorist group. So we have a different hackers group with their motivation. And the attacker, in order to launch a successful attack, he must have a motivation, okay? And we must vulnerable to something, and also he must, have the exploitation code related to this vulnerability. So if we have an exploitation code and we are vulnerable and he don't have a motivation, that's not considered an attack. Okay, so these three factors must be included to form a successful attack. For example, we have also thrill seekers here, which mean the attacker, he just learning something new. He just do this attack to to study something, for example. And we have also insider threats. So maybe we have one of our employee, okay, copy one of our future competitor, for example. So we must implement security controls. So companies, for example, in order to protect their data from insider threats, they use a user behavior analysis, for example, which is a new module came built in with a most SIM solution right now. Like if you have an IPM curator, you can use user behavior analysis module to detect any insider threat activity. If you have a security operations center team, they also can detect those attacks. If you have, if you receive a report from a computer emergency response team inside your country, they also will share with you some information about nation state sponsored hackers, cyber criminal, hacktivist, and so on. So you must gather data from different threat intelligent resources, or security feed. And we know we have a product, so maybe we have in-house product, maybe we purchase a product from third party and so on, and we must make sure that this product align with our security policy here. Okay, so if you are going to build a product in-house, you must make sure that your product is secure before launching this product and make your customers start and use this product here. So it's very, very important to hire a penetration tester, or maybe you have an internal pen testing team or a security assessment team. They start to test the quality of application, test the security of application, and so on. Start to implement some logic test and different techniques in order to make sure this application is working perfect without any issue. If you're going to purchase an application from third party, you must understand the service level agreement. They must support you if you face any problem, for example. You must make sure that they secure their application, they follow a secure development life cycle. It's very, very important, because application, if the application is vulnerable to any kind of attacks, attacker can use this application to hack into your company. Okay, so we must understand those attack here before using this application. If it's an house application, third party application, if using an infrastructure or platform, also a product. And when we deal with an identity and access management, so this is another great topic, and it's very, very important topic here. So imagine that someone could hack any one of your employee, for example, and they start use this account and do a lot of damage here. So identity and access management, it's a very, very important process, and you need to provision an account to your employee here according to his role with least privilege, for example. So if I'm a new employee, for example, and that's my first day, I'm gonna send a letter for an identity and access management team or access right team, for example, that hey, I need to have a new account, and here is my identity, here is my desk number, for example, here is my VoIP, voice over internet IP phone number, my department number, my ID, for example, my name, and so on. And they start to provision an account for me, for example, okay, with a password. And here my username would be my identity, and my password would be my authentication. And I will also receive authorizations that I'm authorized to access this part of company, right? So when the identity and access management team or an access right team, when they provide an account to you, okay, they must put you in the right group first with a minimum privilege that you need in order to complete your task, for example. Okay, because if someone hacked into your account, they will use your account with a minimum right. Okay, so that's important, and we must audit this account regularly. Okay, so we must check this account every 30 day. We must also expire password every 60 or 90 day. We must implement two-factor authentication, and from time to time we must audit this account privilege. If the user or the owner of this account, okay, send a resignation letter, we must suspend his account first, and so on. So yeah, it's very, very important task, because this account could be used by a threat actor to do a lot of damage here inside your organization. So people use single sign-on. It's very, very important topic, but also if the attacker gain access to your account here, he can authenticate with multiple resources here. Okay, so in order to protect the account here, we must implement a multi or two-factor authentication. So for example, we can go with something like your password, for example. We can also rely to a location. Hey, where do you authenticate? So if we have a user authenticate from different location, we must raise an alert here that maybe his account got hacked or got leaked, and we have a new user owner, which is bad. Something you are. So some people use now a fingerprint or a biometric device here in order to authentication. Most of people love biometric devices, but it's not accurate sometimes. So we must use two-factor here. For example, we can go with something like your password, and something you are like your fingerprint, and so on. Some people rely on time, so you authenticate at night, for example, because yeah, that's your job duty here. Okay, you must authenticate at night. Okay, but if you authenticate at day, for example, there is something suspicious here. We need to investigate why this employee authenticate at night, at day, for example. We can also use something you have like a key. And the most important factor here is that we can go and use multiple factors. We can go with something, as I mentioned, something you have, location, or something you are. So yeah, that's very, very important here to rely on multiple factor authentication. So as I mentioned, data, it's very, very important nowadays. So it's important than money. If you control data, or if you have enough data, you can now make tons of money, right? So we have example like Facebook, TikTok, and so on. So they don't sell anything, they have data, okay, and they make a huge amount of money. So data, we create data, or we download data. So that's a two-way to have data. We can create your own data, or we can download data from someone else's computer or from the internet, and we can store data and manage those data and transfer it from device to device. And trust me, we must implement security in every step here. So for example, in data storage. We must implement a security control here to encrypt our data in storage, and we must keep track of the storage state. So storage could be secured by using some useful devices like an IPM Guardian, for example, to protect our database, right? We can encrypt also data while it transfers between one channel to another channel using encrypted protocol and so on. So data is very, very important, and we must protect these data here using encryption. And trust me, encryption and access control is very, very valuable control here to protect your data. And we know we could face some problem related to data from internal or from external. So we have internal from human, like human error. We have malicious insider, privilege misuse, or third-party threats. Or from external, for example, some attackers use social engineering, so they trick our employee to share data, or one of our customers, for example. We have system intrusion, basic web attack, denial of service, cracking and malware, and so on. We have also internal non-human like system crash, hardware, third-party and software vulnerability, physical disruption, stolen asset, and so on. And external non-human like environmental threats, cloud service failure, and so on. So data in all form must be protected, as I mentioned, by implementing right security control to protect those data. And yeah, it's very, very important nowadays to have a security operation center. And those people here, they monitor 24/7. They try to detect any, intrusion attempt, for example. Yes, they have a lot of, screen here, and they monitor everything inside your organization. And they not also detect what they see, they also use some proactive techniques. So they start hunting for any malicious activity. Okay, so they don't wait the attack to begin. Okay, but they also track the attack from the beginning. So they are important team inside our organization, and they protect here our valuable data. Okay, so security operations system, it's very, very valuable team inside our organization. They monitor 24/7 in rotation shift, and they have a great duty here and great responsibility to detect any attack if it's known or unknown. And in order to have a right decision related to attack here, we must map this data with a cyber threat intelligent platform. So cyber threat intelligent platform, it's a platform which used by multiple customers here, like a blue team members, different blue team members from different location, and they share information related as threats. But it's not now called information, it's called intelligent. And the difference between intelligent and information, it's very simple. So if I told you I have an IP address, for example 192.168.1.2, it's information, right? But if I told you this IP address is a malicious, start to scan different IP address port and so on, now it's intelligent, because I'm gonna now use this IP address to answer a very important question. Yep, it's an attacker. So cyber threat intelligence, we have a lot of public cyber threat intelligence platform. It's called TIP threat intelligence platform, like Allen Wolf, for example, or we have one here, it's called CTI. It's free, you can go and implement inside your organization. Some people can rely on MESP and integrate MESP with another tool, okay, like Cortex in Hive. So they integrate Hive with MESP and Cortex, and MESP and Cortex, they share a lot of information with an incident management tool. It's called Hive. So it's a great process, and me as a manager, I must do some assessment here, what control I have in order to protect my organization. We know we have tons of attacks, and attacks increase rapidly those days. So we must be ready. We are, as a security leaders, we must have the right process, right procedure, people, technology, and we rely on those, okay, to fight and protect our organization from any harmful attack. So this session, it's introduction about enterprise cybersecurity. We talked about an essential cybersecurity control here. I know we still have more controls, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to comment on this video or send me a message at any time at info@infosec4tc. I hope everyone enjoys the session and see you soon.